Dubai Expo has been the proverbial light at the end of a very dark tunnel during the course of the pandemic. As it kicked off in late 2021, that light has begun to spread around the world as one of the only large-scale entertainment events to get the go-ahead all year. With the eventual opening of the Expo coinciding with a relatively quiet period on the COVID front, tourists have been flocking to Dubai in their droves. So, will the Expo leave a lasting and impactful legacy on the 50-year-old Emirate, or will local companies be left to pick up the pieces once the buzz has died down?
I mean, they're clinical to the growth in this region, of course, especially Dubai and Qatar, you know, Saudi Arabia right now with their vision for 2030. I mean, I think Expo is super clinical to show the presence, to show the Middle Eastern presence that we are there with the highest in advancements in technologies, with not just a cultural presence, but a really futuristic presence, getting ready for what's next globally, you know? So definitely, yeah, for sure. And what we've seen so far from the Expo has been surreal, you know? The technologies, the vision, I mean, the whole sort of structural process of creating it in a time like where a global pandemic is happening has been pretty impressive, to say the least.
I think that, you know, it's great that there's going to be so much influx of people coming to the Middle East and, you know, understanding that this place is safe. There are really good measures. You know, there's a good future for people. I think the hope for not only the country itself is post that, you know, to be able to grab people and have people situate and migrate over here to develop futures and lives. From our perspective, yeah, I definitely think that they're doing the right measures to actually enhance that, give the people the great experience like they would in any part of the other world that they were. But what my real hope is that, you know, local companies are the ones to get those gigs and get those jobs. We want those companies that actually put investment, time, effort, resources to be the ones to deliver that.
So I think the biggest difference in the way these big events have been planned for in the past versus today, especially with Expo, is they're looking at what happens when the event ends. You know, the sustainability aspect. And I think Dubai and many of the regions, you know, that are planning big events, they're really looking into that. They're like, okay, once we build this infrastructure and the event's over, how can we reuse this infrastructure? I mean, if you look at Qatar, they're thinking of how can they reuse some parts of the stadium, maybe ship parts of it to other countries where they need that infrastructure. So I think learning from the past, they've realized that we need to look beyond just the event.
With Expo coming at this time, you know, I think it's perfect. I think that the timing of it, obviously it's been postponed a year. The situation with COVID here is is under control as much as it can be, certainly in comparison to the rest of the world. And there is a massive appetite for people to get back to traveling. And we can see it we can see it on the roads. I mean, literally this place is as busy as it's been now for several years. So I think there's an immediate benefit that we see a lot more people coming into the country. From a business perspective, we've obviously been supplying lots of customers for the Expo, and post-Expo, you know, there's a legacy that's going to be very beneficial for the economy. And I think when you look at some of the reports that have been coming out recently about people's perceptions of the UAE, about what it's like to live here, you know, there's a huge confidence about the outlook for the UAE. So it's, you know, Expo is part of the whole thing, and it's I think it's a very positive.
Thanks to the UAE, like, you know, the Expo, they managed to run, even it was 1 year delay, but it was doing at the moment very well. There is a business. Now the events are started, and the Expo side event is very good actually, and the crowded, and the business is coming from those part actually. It is through the integrator or through the events company, so business is increased due to the Expo.